I'll see on the other screen when the other screens go live too.
Okay, yeah. Let me get this.
Here we are. Hello, everybody. Joe and Sherry here. How are you today?
Hello, good evening.
Today's topic is how to manifest. Oh, I'm gonna turn the volume here. Today's topic is how to manifest money, sex, and relationships. We're going to dive into this issue in various ways, in a psychic intuitive way, in a left brain way, in a right brain way, and in whatever comes to us. The topic is interesting because Sherry and I are working on a course which will help you manifest more money, more sex, and better relationships in your life. This is something that we all need and require, especially in these times of major change. Everything is changing this world. Everything is changing in these times. And it's good to flow with it. So we're going to do our best to help you flow with it. If anyone has questions live, you can type them in. I have a bunch of questions, as always, to Sherry and to myself. So we'll start right away. I'll start with Sherry. How are you today? And what comes to mind when we talk about money, sex, and relationships?
Well, there's a lot, but I feel like it's such a topic. Oh, those are the power three, right? Those are the three that everybody wants to improve. I think there's like in the climate right now, like in the collective, it's like everyone like manifestation is like the buzzword, but I just feel like it carries a lot of misunderstandings with that word. Like the word manifestation, I don't think people really understand what it means. But like when you look at the movie, what was that movie that came out about manifestation many years ago now? And it really focused on like manifesting material objects like very quickly. So people understand that. I think that's a lot of people's idea of what manifestation actually is, right? Like, oh, I want, and it's not that it can't, but it was very material focused.
Mm-hmm. But the way I look at manifestation is realizing from the word real, making real an idea, a thought, a vibration into presence. So we bring it from the higher realms, from my higher mind, my thought process, the upper me, whatever you want to call it, the God me, the rain, the light ray that is me. I get this idea. And this idea comes out and go, oh, that would be great. Now I'm going to work to make it real, to realize it. That's a process of simplification of manifestation. Now, sometimes I really want something and I get the exact opposite. So, for example, I could be in a state of luck. So, this morning I had someone call me for my real estate business and they were complaining a lot. And I noticed this guy always has bad luck.
Hmm.
But he always complains nonstop. And other people who are in a very similar process, but they're full of gratitude. And if there's a problem occurs, they go, it'll sort itself out. They kind of seem to like make things happen for themselves a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, they do. I think that one of the things that people aren't aware of is that you're always manifesting anyways. So it's people like, oh, I'm going to start manifesting, and you're already manifesting, and that's I think that's also a misunderstanding. It's like, oh, up until now, I've been manifesting everything. Everything's just happening to me, and it's like a victim mentality when it's like everything's happening for you by your design, and that's a really hard swallow for a lot of people. Is that they're actually creating their reality, and no, most people, it's upsetting for them because then they have to take like that the self power and like self responsibility um, because they want to believe it's actually happening to them, right? Like it's easier to be a
Right.
victim. I have no control over this. Well, actually, you do have control over it.
It's really good that it happens to me is a bit of a victim approach. I have
Mm-hmm.
no control over it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I make it happen. Like, I want to be in control. The only thing I can be in my control is my response to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
the environment is going to throw curveball after curveball after curveball. The other day, and this is all real, I got a email from the tax authorities that I get reassessed.
Yes. Oh my God.
Not the first time. Okay, well, I can be really stressed about it. I can send an email to the accountant and say, what is it? Then he said, oh, like you need to send some document. It'll be okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, I know.
So I can take it, oh my God, they're after me. They're always auditing the people. I can say, I'll just have it checked, and whatever it is, I'll deal with it in a ease and grace, in
Yes.
an easier way.
Ease and grace, exactly. And I think that's like how we allow things to come to ourselves. And we've talked about this before. That's also part of it. It's that you have to zone in on what you actually believe. So like, oh, everything's hard. Like it's hard for me to find a partner. The apps are hard. It's never gonna happen. Like that. Like all that kind of like those thought processes. It's like it's hard. So then you have to switch that to let it be easy, let it flow. Right? It's gonna happen. Because even I have met people too where it was like, no, they're like, it's easy to meet people. And they meet people all the time. But then other people I talk to were like, oh, it's so difficult. And then poof, it's difficult. Like,
They live in the same town.
yeah,
They live in the same place. They go to the same places. But for some
yes,
reason, some people connect and some people don't.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like of course we know this, but it's like you're creating your own experiences all the time with with your thoughts. It's actually like a frequency that's around you, a measurable frequency that's been proven by science now for the people who need science. It's science is catching up already. It's
Right.
like an electromagnetic frequency around you that literally can only call in the same vibratory experience as your frequency. So,
If Let me ask you this. It's a bit of a funny question. If I am the kind of person that always needs scientific proof for everything, if I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
right, right.
Can I consciously manifest? Can I bring things to realization?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think you can honestly, because I think you've probably seen this in your life too. Is that because I do know someone who is like that, who's very science, but I think there's a ceiling though on that. I do because there is like there's also a deserving aspect. So this person believes they deserve things, right? So then they
Right.
actually it. And that's like a big block for a lot of people is they don't actually think that they deserve it. So then they don't attract like relationships or money, right? But I think to answer your question, I don't think it would happen. I think there would be a ceiling to what you can do. Yeah. I think I've seen that in people like who are like that.
The issue of self-worth, how does that translate to the ability to manifest?
I think it's probably the most important part of it is your self-worth, because if you don't believe you're worth it, you won't you'll sabotage it every single time. Like I see this too when I'm working with people. They're like, oh, I met this amazing and they just sabotage it. I was talking about that with a friend today actually. Now that she's done a lot of work, she's manifested probably her dream person really, and she was laughing today going, I can feel my old narratives like trying to sabotage it. So she has to now believe like I'm worth this, like I'm worth this, and I accept this. I'm allowing myself to receive this. So the universe can give us all these gifts, and we're just like, no, 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 but we don't even realize it, right? And then we're still complaining, because we're not receiving it in. We won't. We don't think that we can keep it. It's gonna leave. It's all the fear frequency. Like I can't keep it. Like I'm not good enough to hold on to this person. They're gonna leave. It's like all of that, like fear frequencies.
Why is there a gap, a delay between thinking I want this and by the time that thing comes to me, or sometimes it doesn't?
Yeah, like sometimes when you want it, you're asking like sometimes it doesn't actually come. It doesn't come. So with my experience with that, it always, we either missed it, like we didn't see the signs, or it's still coming. I think that people are like, oh, I want this and it's going to show up Thursday, or I want this and it's going to show up in like 6 weeks. But no, maybe the universe is like immediately putting together, like connecting the dots. But it's like, for me, sometimes it's been like 6 months to a year before. But I've noticed now in hindsight that I was put to the test for many, many things. And I just shed and go through a bunch of stuff. And then I was able to actually receive it. So it prepares you from the day that you want it, but you have to let go of what it looks like. You really have to, I think, have we not talked? I think we've talked about how surrendering what it looks like and how it's going to show up is one of the most important things too. Like you put it out there and you have to trust the timing. Like, right?
Yeah, and also from what I know, and from our conversation with Ethan, the ET,
Yeah.
he told us a lot about you're gonna get what you need to get, but it may not be what you thought it's gonna be like.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the
Yes.
other thing is, I'll go on this for a second. So perhaps I'll take a simple example. I want to build an app that will make me $1 million, or I want this relationship, or I want to have great sex. But what you what you fail to understand is that you're not there yet.
Yeah.
So that idea in your mind is a great idea, but it's more like a cartoon idea. You can't jump the
Right.
steps because I want to make $5 million tomorrow, but you haven't made 20,000 yet.
Yes.
So you can get there, but there's a lot of steps in between to get there, and most of these steps are working on yourself to bring yourself to the place of self acceptance, of self worthiness, of making peace with your past, of letting go all these things are holding you back, of all these preconceived notions about what you can and cannot achieve. Where you were born, or your parents like this, or da 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 da. And once you're in a space that allows you to receive that money or relationship or sexual relationship, what it is, it's there for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of these steps cannot be skipped in the 3D realm, in the physical realm, because it does take. If I want to build an app, there's a lot of little steps to do it. If we want to make a course about 21 days to manifest, which we're making,
Yeah.
like, look at all the steps we've been taking to get that course going. There's 1,000 steps. So the idea is great, but to get that course going and published on the app and then let people exist still takes time.
Yeah, it does take time. Exactly. It does. It's the state of readiness. That's exactly what it is. Because from day one, when you say, "Oh, I desire this," or "I want XYZ," you're getting put into almost like a training, or I don't know, right? To start preparing you to receive that thing. Like that's happened to me every single time I've manifested. It's like, okay, now you're gonna go through some hard shit before you're actually gonna be able to. And I see it because I work with people too. I see the exact same thing, and people are frustrated. I'm like, this is your what's the word, like training ground. Like
Yeah.
before you get the thing, you need to pass like this, and then that thing is gonna show up. So people get frustrated because they just want it to happen now. I think that's too, right? Like that frustration and, oh no, I don't, I just want it now. Like and it depends what it is. Okay, if you want a new bike, sure, try to manifest a new bike. That's something that maybe you're ready for right now physically. It depends on what you're manifesting and where it's going to meet you. Like a bike, or if it's a relationship, or if it's creating $1 million app, whatever it is. It's like, I think that it's different in a way, like depending on like what it is. Yeah.
Let's say I want to meet this hot guy or hot girl, regardless of whatever. I go to the bar, but I don't. I meet okay people, but they're not those. So people will go and say, "Okay, I need to lose weight. I need to work out." They come to the bar, they look like Popeye. They look like, but they're still not meeting that hot guy, hot girl. Why is that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot to that. I mean, I think it's that magnetism. Every time I see people that can do that every time, they do have a lot of, like, their energy is really good, but there's like a confidence, charisma, like a worthiness. Like there's this like this cocktail of magnetism that those people have. And I think it's, I mean, of course it can be, I don't want to say like fake, but you have like say like the bad boy type that, yeah, they're oozing with like charisma and like fake confidence because they're actually probably really insecure inside, but they still have like the balls and the bravery, and they can go out and meet whoever they can attract because they do have this like magnetism, right? Like confidence is probably the most magnetic thing, is confidence. And then you got to see what's underneath that. But true self-love, like a balance, like real self-love and like a good person with integrity and morals, they can go out and do that. Honestly, I think it's just belief. I think it is, a lot of it is like belief, like that you believe you can do it. You just believe you can. That's it. I see
it.
those people operating in the world and I'm like, wow, okay. Like they just believe it. So whether they're a good person or not, they get whatever they want because they just think that they deserve it. There's a big deserving piece, I swear. Like that's a huge part of it. So, like,
The self-worthiness is so much of it, of the
it
puzzle.
really, yeah, I would say it's one of the top one. Like if you don't think you deserve it, you're not going to really get it. I mean, how do you actually think you deserve it? Like you're like, well, I want to go to meet a hot person. Do you think you deserve it actually? Like,
Right. Do you see yourself with a hot person?
yeah, and do you see it? Like,
Yeah.
is and a lot of people don't. A lot of people are going into this like in a take mentality. Like, what can I get from that person? I'm going to take from them.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna take, like, but they're not thinking of like their own self-value and what can I give to this person? And you know, and then whatever you build off of a take is never going to be good. So it's like
Absolutely.
you can manifest stuff, but is it going to be, what do you want to manifest? Quality? And I think with manifestation, it's like you have to be very specific, like super as specific as you can. In experience too, when I've spoken to people that have manifested really outlandish things, like it's shown up and it's been amazing and almost it's magical, but then they missed a couple details and they were like, oh, I should have been a little bit more specific with certain aspects. But like, yeah, people that are just messing around with it, just messing around with manifestation.
When my daughter was young, we'd stand on the balcony and we'll just manifest a balloon and we'll say, let's see a red balloon. And before you know it, there'll be a red balloon going by. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Or
say,
manifest like, let's say a lady walking with a purple dress. And before you know it, there's someone walking with a purple dress. It does happen.
It actually does happen. I was gonna say kids have that. They still are in that magical sort of like period of their life when they can, because I've heard that like kids can actually manifest way easier than adults because they just, their belief is just out. Like it's just, they're like, I could definitely do that tomorrow, but, and then it will happen. Kids will be able to manifest. I've seen it. It's interesting.
I'll give the people that watch some exercises, some homework for manifestation. So a simple one is to manifest a person walking around with a certain type of clothing and color. You know, let's see that purple dress. Let's see that, but not black pants, because everyone's wearing black pants, but something a little bit more unique, and it will show up.
Mm-hmm.
Another good thing is receiving a gift.
Yes.
And the gift could be someone's going to give you a cookie. Someone's going to hold the door for you. That's a gift. Someone's going to say, you go ahead in the line, not me. You go ahead.
Yeah. That's
you buy your food, somebody gives you a little extra. Hey, can I give a little extra of the cranberries? Oh yeah, sure. That's a gift.
That's a gift.
Right?
Yes.
The lady that served me today, I got some lunch and I go, man, that lady is uptight. I wish she smiled a little bit. And the very end, she like just gave us a crack of a smile. Okay, great.
Really? Aw. That's that. You know what? That's such a good idea. Like just practicing. I forget who it was anyway, somebody that was online, but like a coach, and he was like with parking is a good one. Like never ever didn't get a parking spot because he would always manifest every single time. Like no matter if the parking lot's full, he's like, nope, there's gonna be a spot exactly opening up at the exact time that we need it, and it would just go right in there. That's a good one. Or a spot at a restaurant. He's like, every time, and he's like, and then it was crazy because things would start to happen where it was almost like crazy that we even got in because there was a waiting list. He's like, no, we're getting in. He's like, something's gonna happen that we get in. But it's just, again, it's like your unwavering belief that it's going to happen, and you see it visually, and then it happens. So, right? If there's doubt, then it doesn't really work. Right?
I did do that yesterday with my daughter. We went to Hyde Park, and then there's a little deli that we go to after, and it's literally got 2 little tables and 4 chairs. That's it. and
Oh,
it's usually packed. And I told myself, okay, there's gonna be room for us, no problem. And I just didn't even think about it. We walked in, and it's like it was there was room.
there's room.
There was
Yeah.
room, so we got to sit right away.
Yeah. See, and like stuff like that. This is going back to what we just talked about a couple minutes ago. Is it depends on what you're asking for. So if it's something like instant, like I want a parking spot, I'm going now. Something's just going to open up. That's something immediate. I want to manifest a bike. That's different. But if you want to manifest your dream partner, it again depends where you are. If you're someone who spent the last 10 years doing self work and you feel like you're probably going to attract it faster. If you're someone who's has a lot of work to do, you're going to start getting like little relationships that are going to test you and show you a mirror of what you still need to really work on in order to have a healthy relationship, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I feel like it's worth telling this like 30-second story. I had a friend. She was homeless. She was like completely just like in the worst state of her life. And I forget. I think she found a book, but she just started to manifest in the homeless shelter. I want to meet a guy from Rosedale. He's going to be rich. He's going to have a lot of money. Like this was just like her messing around with manifestation. She's like, I'm not going to be homeless in XYZ amount of days. Like everything that she and she spent all her days like just I'm going to get out of here. And she met that person in Rosedale, big mansion, like exactly what she manifested, but he was a toxic asshole. And she's like, oops, forgot to mention that I want a healthy partner. like so that's what I was saying before. Like it's fascinating because that actually just happened. She got out of the homeless house, like she met that person, and it was just like she was able to move in, but then that relationship wasn't healthy. So it's just that's why when I've taken some manifestation courses, they do say like try to write it down in as much detail as possible, like what you want and what it feels like even safety, like in a partnership,
Right.
right? Yeah.
At the same time, perhaps, and I heard that too, that perhaps being too specific blocks opportunities for you to receive what you want, which may occur in a different format, like our friend Ethan said.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like a paradox of it, I find. It's like because that is also true. It's like I've heard both too. So then you could argue like, okay, that's what she needed because she needed that mirror of that toxic guy, right? To show her where now she because like, okay, you got this, but you're not ready for like you need like because I think that like our guides and the universe is always working to evolve us to the best, highest version of ourselves, right? So then you have to look at it and go, okay, well, I manifested this much, great, but now I'm looking at why the man is like this. That shows me that I still have work to do in order to get to. And now she did more work, and now she has probably one of the most beautiful men you could ask for, and they have like 4 kids, and they live on like a thing, growing their own food and everything. Like her story's pretty fascinating, but she kept doing the work, right? And she manifested that. So
Right.
you're right? Like I've seen people block by being too particular about details. They're like, oh well, he's not tall like I wanted him to be, or but he's perfect in every other way. You know what I mean? Like silly things, like things like that, where it shows up, but then it wasn't exactly specific. Like he doesn't do ice baths and sauna, and he's not 6'2", and he doesn't journal, but then there's many other ways that he stays fit and does his spiritual practices. So that one woman I'm speaking about, she's like, I've let that go now because you block it. You do start to block it.
Right. What what specific what specific steps could you suggest to someone um, to start manifesting?
I think first you need to get clear on what you want and why. I think the why is really important. I mean, if you're looking for a fulfilling life, like it just depends on the person, because a shallow person can go, oh, I just want a hot woman that looks this way and that
Right.
way. But then when they get it, they don't appreciate it, and it doesn't fulfill them, right? So I think part of this is getting to know. I honestly, this maybe sound cliche, but I think if you want to manifest, you literally have to go inward and heal all your shit first, because then you're just gonna manifest the same. Like it's just going to be the same sort of reality. Like you can manifest, you're already manifesting everything anyway. So why are you manifesting what you're manifesting now? So you want something different if you're still trying to manifest. So you're probably still manifesting the same diet, the same women, the same men, the same shit, or else you wouldn't even be wanting to, right? So I would say self-investment is first. Like, what do you want? Why? I would write that down. Why do I even want this? Like, why? And what kind of life do I want? So read books, go on podcast, like listen to podcasts, learn how to love yourself and understand why you want what you want. And then maybe it will change. Because some people write it down and they're like, I don't know why I want this actually.
Right.
I don't know. Why do you want it? Like,
So if you don't know what you want, or you write stuff that doesn't really connect to you, it's just not going to work. It's not real.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yes. That's exactly right.
Okay, so I wrote here. Okay, so what's my what and why? Clear my junk. Then what do I do?
Yeah, and clear your junk. I mean, that in itself is huge. I would say, like, we would go more into this in our program, but like, to clear your junk, it's worth taking, like, hiring some kind of healer to do one-on-one work, doing like a meditation, like a hypnosis meditation, where it's going to clear out all the stuff in your subconscious mind. Like, that is so important. Start meditating, I would say, after that. Like, do your work, find a healer, hire a therapist, whatever it is. Like, actually invest in yourself. Like, you're worth it, right? Like, that's also the deserving piece. Meditation every day, even for 5 to 10 minutes a day, I would say. And start observing. Like, don't try to shut your mind off. That's not actually the point of meditation. Like, people think that. You got to listen to the chaos that's happening, because that's the chaos that's screaming to get out and be healed. And the more you heal, the more your meditations become silent. So I think that's also a part of it. Meditating and writing down, like, what's coming up, and then choosing your thoughts differently, and noticing.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good one.
Like, going above yourself and becoming an observer of your ego is I would say the next part of it. And going, oh, I'm not my ego. My ego is just spitting out all these, like, fear belief systems and a bunch of shit that I stored up since childhood, and they're not me, and that's not who I choose to be anymore. And now you have to start telling yourself different and better thoughts.
Understanding the real me versus the ego in me takes time. I think children don't really have the ego, but at some point, maybe in your early teens, kind of takes over, and then it becomes me. You start to identify with brands, with religion, with country, with flag, with us against them, and you forget about the grand picture of spirit in the material world, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it takes a long time to go back into that point where the elusiveness of the childish, just beauty and love in everything.
I think that's so important. That's so true. I think it's circling back to the child energy. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
It's people don't know who they are without all of these preconditioned things. So it's just learning that. It does take time. That's the thing. Again, so the theme keeps coming up about it takes time, unfortunately, as people just need to understand that it does take time. It's not, it's, you know, like, because we live in this fast, like, you can have everything at the, but you need to go on your journey. It's a journey, and you should enjoy all of it regardless, either way.
Yeah.
Because, right? Like, it's all about the journey. So no one wants to hear that, but it's true.
It's very true.
Like, it just is true. It does take time.
Realizing that perhaps the idea that you've had in your mind is just the idea to get you to the next step, but it does not. Maybe you wanted the $1 million app, or that 6'2" guy, or that hot girl, or the $1 million at the bank, but really that idea just got you to the next place where maybe you change your life, maybe you cleared out your junk, maybe you move to a better place. Perhaps that person you want is not in the city you're living in, and you have to understand that you have to physically remove yourself from one environment to the other.
Exactly.
So a lot of these, it's not manifesting. Yes, it is, but it's just pushing you to the next level where you can keep going in a way.
Exactly. I think that's a big one. What you just said, where people are like, "Oh, it's not working," or "It didn't work." No, it's working. Like, it is working. And then people give up, and then they just move on and assume that it didn't work. Like, because I've had things again where, I don't know if you have, where it did take a really long time, but I did just let it go and go, I know it's coming. I just know that. And then it did, but it looked different than I thought. It came in way than I thought. So that's a really big part of it is just, you have to just wait. You have to wait sometimes. Like,
one thing that I do is I like to chip at it. So I have many projects on the go, and I chip at these projects a little bit at a time, chip at this one, chip at that one. So, and sometimes I'll have a break, and I think about it, and I take a break, and then when I come back to the project, it's a lot clearer to me, and maybe I'm in a different place that allows me to see it, and suddenly it becomes so much easier, and I go, man, I would not have made it then, but now it's so much easier, and I can complete that project.
Right. Yes.
So you can look at making money or having sex or having a relationship. It's a project.
Yeah.
So I want to have the $1 million, but if I'm not living in the right space, or I don't have the right environment for it, or I'm overweight, or I don't trust myself, or I don't feel worthy enough for that money or sex or relationship, it's not going to come to me until I do the inner work, cleared my junk, and really put myself in a space that I become the magnet, I become the attractive, I become the bad boy, or whatever it is.
The badass. The bad boy is
badass.
The toxic, and the badass is the old one.
I want to show, I don't know how well it show, but this is part of our course. It's the Daily Focus Planner. So in the course, it's a PDF which you can download and print in your local printer. And what we have here, we have some beautiful mantras.
Yes.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, it was there for a second.
I know it's on this mode, but it basically says, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I love myself. These are mantras to repeat. I am a money magnet. I am sexy as fuck. AF.
Yes.
I attract money, sex, and great relationships. And then the second page, I want this energy or this vibe. These are my intention. These are my goals. These are my gift. These are my secret powers. So it helps focus into what you really want. And then we have a set of pages here. And the left page will have these 4 quadrants. The top left will say today's focus. Pick yourself 1, 2, or 3 focus. The things you have to accomplish today. Don't worry about the rest. The second here is your daily hustle. This one. What have you done for it today? What do you get the hustle? Maybe there's some unseen, I got the call from the tax man. You got to deal with it. Okay. Here is food and fitness. Food and fitness is really the reality of getting this body to work the best possible way. Today, you can see I'm so tired. I had a big weekend. We ran in the snow and worked out and all the things. So that's fine. So, today is a bit of a recovery, but I still put my best day forward. And I've still got a lot of stuff done. Maybe not the entire list, but I all the important things I already had it done. Okay, and the last one is very important, wins and lessons. So what are my wins today? We've done this amazing podcast today. We're streaming live, and then we'll chop it up and have it all the channels. That's amazing. Yeah. And I did call the accountant about the tax man, and I did speak with the client, and I did do all the things that I really wanted to do. Maybe there's always a million other things. So these are the wins, and there's a little trophy symbol here. And what are the lessons? What have I learned today?
Yes.
Okay. And then this is and then it just repeats. And the right page is kind of a simplified daily, but I'll just read it to you. It's very simple. It says time and notes, daily focus planner. So in the morning, it says gratitude and ask. So when you wake up in the morning, we spoke about this.
Yeah.
And I'll refer to you in a second about how to do gratitude and asking. Then it says make beds, stretch, lemon water, just get your body going. And then it says Pomodoro. Pomodoro is a system of working for 25 minutes and then pausing for 25 minutes. And working means not going on Instagram or social, but just like hitting it hard for 25 minutes. That's all you need. Not a long time. And then you basically keep doing this throughout the day. You have light meal, no carbs. And we do this at some point. You want to do a workout. And then you're going to have your light meals throughout the day, which are mostly fats and proteins, less carbs, so you're not tired.
Yes, exactly.
And then you get your wholesome dinner with the carbs in the evening. And then the evening is tea, light snack, meditation, writing, personal time, gratitude, and ask.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the and I've done this for myself many times, and it works. Absolutely works.
It
So,
does.
yeah. So Sherry, what? Let's go over the daily schedule. I wake up in the morning. What is gratitude and ask, and why should I do it first thing in the morning?
Well, gratitude, I mean, I think first thing in the morning and last thing before you sleep, the gratitude, because it's just like you're going to sleep, it helps you sleep better because a lot of us have like stress thoughts like cycling through our mind, right? It's just like I would do like a little visualization and gratitude at the end of the day. Because again, gratitude is a frequency. So it's the more grateful you are, the more gratitude you're calling in. Like if you're not grateful for what you have, why would you get more? Like why would you be gifted more if you're not grateful for what you already have? Gratitude is at the center of real fulfillment, I think. Like, so it's really important, but also gratitude is like chemically for your brain, like it just floods your brain with all those happy chemicals like serotonin and dopamine, and it lowers your cortisol. So it's like really important. So it's when you go to bed at night, it's like, yeah, sometimes people go to bed and they can't sleep or stressed out. Just go into like name 5 things you're grateful for today. It's just like shifting your focus because like the ego, like it's just people are just focused on like the shitty things that happened and the shitty things they're gonna look forward to tomorrow, and it's like the same repetitive cycle. You literally have to like switch this gratitude thing on, right?
Yes.
And then the more you do it, it just becomes a habit. But you do find yourself becoming happier. Like honestly, it just works. It just does. So if you want to like before bed, just like, okay, what are 5 things I was grateful for today? Even if they're super simple, like, oh yeah, I had that 15 minutes on the couch and the sun was shining in and I was just staring into the sun, and that means a lot in Canadian winters, just getting those sunbathing sessions through the window. Like, and then I had a coffee and I just had this moment to myself and I played my favorite song and I'm like, wow, this was just such a great, like, it's those simple things, like it's just to get overlooked, but like that's number 1, gratitude. Number 2, I got to go pick up my child from school today. I actually got sun on my skin. Like it was a bit cold, but I still moved my body. Like that's what we have to start thinking. Like it's literally like everything is a gift.
Right.
Number 3, whatever, like lift 5 before you go to sleep, and then try to like look forward to things the next day instead of stress. And I'm not saying life isn't stressful or like to bypass that, but it is training your mind to like operate from a place of gratitude. And then in the morning, same thing. Do you have a practice like just in the morning, like when you get up? I know a lot of people are
Every
rushing
day.
to work,
Every
whatever.
day. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a gratitude. Even if you're driving and you're stuck in traffic, play a podcast or
Yeah.
do gratitude. Like list 5 things you're grateful for. Play music and freaking dance in your car. I don't know, but it's like taking yourself out of like your set patterns of misery, and turning them into a gift. That's what alchemy is. Like if you can take something that seems bad and turn it into something that's a gift, right?
So, yeah. There are no bad things or only lessons.
That's what I think as well. And that's like I'm a very happy person, and I think it's worth mentioning that sometimes people don't like me because I'm a fundamentally happy person. And I'm not kidding about that. It's really interesting because it triggers the fuck out of them, honestly. It really triggers them a lot. Because I look at life in this way where it's like, yeah, everything is a gift, and I'm not saying I can't get depressed or down or anything like that, but it's just like it's this mindset. But so I'm a happy person. So take me and my daughter, for example, who has anxiety. She knows this, and we talk about this all the time, and she's trying to change it, but very negative. So we're in the same world, in the same situation, and we'll both go for a walk, and it's cold and maybe unpleasant to a lot of people, right? Then there's me, and I'm like, oh my God, I love how crisp, fresh air feels in my lungs. Like, oh my God, this air is so great. And then she was right beside me being like, fuck this, I hate winter. I can't be fucking let my stupid, like just bitching. And then me literally, and we both noticed it. We were both like, because I was still saying like, wow, like I'm so grateful for this. Like think about how good spring is gonna feel because we went through the winter. Like we get to look forward to spring because it's cold. And then she was complaining, and I was literally and I was looking at the trees, being like, oh, I love these like winter pine trees. Oh my God, you can see the stars. And we were having 2 totally separate experiences in the same moment. And I'm like, you do realize what's happening right now? And she's like,
Yeah.
like, so it's gratitude makes your life better. It's just simple. It just does.
And when you have gratitude, you're going to manifest more money, more sex, and more
That's
relationships.
exactly it. You do. Because
Because you become the person that everyone wants to be around. So people want to give you the jobs,
yeah,
people want to give you the contracts, people want to get naked with you, people want
exactly.
to have a relationship with you. And relationship could be a romantic relationship, personal relationship. I have a relationship with a neighbor. If I need something, I can text a neighbor. And I need a vacuum cleaner. Okay, come get it. No problem. That's
Yeah.
also a type of relationship. And all these and that relationship was created by meeting in the elevator.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know.
And seeing downstairs, like walking the dogs. Hey, how are you today? How are the
Yeah,
dogs?
yeah.
And they see another person who's happy in the moment. Obviously, they want to have a relationship with that person. And if
Oh,
you're like, yeah, that's what you're gonna get.
yes. Yes, that's what you get more of, right? That's yeah. And that's what I mean by people, this is like a full circle thing, but right in the beginning was that you're already manifesting. So
You
people are
always
going to
manifest.
learn how to no, you want to learn how to manifest something different, but you're already constantly manifesting every single thing. So I think that's so important for people to understand, right? Like taking ownership and accountability of their reality is one of the main parts of it, right?
One of the things that I tell people, and I focus for myself and others that I help out, is we always start with the body, because the body is something that you can't escape it. You're always
Right.
in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You gotta breathe, you gotta eat, you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta sleep. Like you get tired, you age, all these things. Like this is gonna happen. But
I
what
know.
you can do is you can optimize yourself. You can optimize your physical way, and then you realize when you optimize your physical way, your mood gets better. Whether
Hmm.
you go for a walk, or you go to the gym, or you go to the sauna, or you take supplements, and even if the supplements are all placebos, you still feel better because you went to the store and you spent
Yeah.
$100 and you say to yourself, this supplement will make me really strong, and this supplement will help to be sleep better, and this supplement will make my mind clear, and
Yeah.
I can do things in a positive, natural way. I don't need any drugs for it. So it's bound to happen. So tell me that's not manifesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I feel more confident about myself, then I can say, okay, I want that contract. I'm not afraid to ask for this job. I'll ask for the raise. I'll go after the hot guy or the hot girl. I think that manifesting good is also letting know when to go. It's like, I went on a date with you, but there's not going to be a second or third date. You're not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
fine. That's
yes,
fine.
important. It's not like it's letting go of that like clingy desperate frequency. So just because you met one person, like you've gotta, it's abundance, you're like, no, this isn't right. Like stay true to yourself and let it go, because you have to believe there's more. Because a lot of
Yes.
people, like they're like they just cling to the first thing and they're like, I don't want to bother looking because it's so hard to find someone, and I won't, and I this person's already here, I just don't want it. And that just it fails every single time because it's not authentic, right? It's like clingy, it's desperation, and that energy is just like, yeah.
That's right. So that energy will really show through you,
Hmm.
uh, which is the energy of lack, not enough, more for me,
Exactly.
versus just let it go. It doesn't matter. Do I really need another piece of bling or like?
I know. It's fascinating having like single friends or even clients where they start to realize that too, where they stayed in something because they're like, well, I will never find someone else. When other people believe they'll find someone and they find everyone else all the time. There's a surplus of people, like it's literally, if you think that, it's just,
Yeah,
it's it's not even possible not to meet someone else. And those people always meet someone else, of course, because you have to, you will. How is that not going to happen? Like, it's just like keeping yourself trapped in something that isn't for you because you're scared and you're clinging, you're not giving yourself a chance. That's not self, yeah, it's not self-love. It's not being true to yourself. So that's why I think the question you asked before, is you need to do your self work and get to know yourself.
yeah. What about travel? How do you think going travel, either by myself or with a friend, could affect my ability to manifest?
I don't think it would. I mean, is there more context? Like if someone was just like, oh, I'm just gonna go travel.
I think it might, because when you travel, especially by yourself or even with a friend, you're thrown out of your comfortable environment. So there's a lot of hurdles to pass. I mean, whether it's a simple thing of passing the passport check, but you
Yeah.
gotta be somewhat chilled out and show your passport. You can't freak out. That's not the place to do it. You go on a plane, you have to abide by the rules. And then you go to the hotel, and maybe the bed is not facing the right way, or you got the view of the parking lot, not the waterfalls.
Oh my gosh.
So I think travel, actually, it's inconvenient, it's tiring, it could be stressful. So you have to be in the moment. You have to learn to make the best of it. I mean, don't you want to come back with these amazing photos from Instagram? Yes, you do. But so you can bitch and complain about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, that's like a mindset too, though. Like definitely. It depends. But yeah, I see what you mean. That's so
You
funny.
also, when people travel, I think they tend to be more open-minded to meeting other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then
definitely.
and to try new things, I'll try this new food. I'm not gonna be so stingy about how much this thing costs. Okay, that was $5, not four. Okay, whatever, I'll just take it.
Yeah.
So you're learning to release and just let loose a little bit of your own rules. And then when you come home, you bring it with you, and the magic really happens that like 2 or 3 days after you come back home, and you're still a little bit of tourist at home, and you look around, you go, okay, this is where I live, that's my neighborhood, these are the people I know, that's the concierge downstairs, this is the supermarket, and kind of like there's a bit of a magic there in like the first 2 or 3 days. You kind of tend to look up more like a tourist, like see things in a new way, and you'll eventually like wear off, and you'll go back into your little you know rabbit hatch mode.
Yeah.
But for these couple of days, like, you still bring that magic with you, and it does rub on you, and when it does rub on you,
Mm-hmm.
you can still bring that magic with you.
No, for sure. I think I understand your question better now. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like it for the exact everything that you said. Like you do look at things differently because you do change when you travel. You're way more open minded. You're looking at things completely differently, right? Like it's just a perspective shift, and you do bring it back to you. So sometimes it's really helpful to do that. I think is like it's like getting out of your comfort zone too. Like allowing yourself to do something different so you can open your mind more. You
Yeah.
know, because that's a big part of it actually. Is well, it's allowing, right? It's like experience something different and allowing. So yeah, I think for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Going through the challenges, and a lot of people these days are single, a lot of more than ever, probably, and
I,
more than ever, yeah, and more than ever, people don't have children.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
So it's a whole other life. I mean, you thought you'll be married with children by the time you're 25, and then you're 30 and 35 and 40 and 45 and 50, and like, I don't want to have children anymore. Maybe I'll just stay single for life. How do I manifest good things in my life to come to me? And you still want to have money, you still want to have the sex, you still want to have the relationship, but perhaps from a different perspective now.
Mm-hmm.
And as years go by, you have to think to yourself, like, how long am I going to be staying in this spot? The mental spot, the heart spot, the physical spot. And now perhaps you have more of a incentive to break through the own shell that you created for yourself back in your 20s and 30s,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
to break that glass ceiling, into like, Truman just gets out of the studio and there he is in the real
Yes,
world.
I know. I love that movie for that reason. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
know. It's
I mean,
so cool.
aren't we in the Truman Show the whole time?
Yeah. I like to believe we are. The Matrix, we must escape and yeah, totally. Yeah.
I mean, you can't really escape the Truman Show, the Matrix, but you can start looking at your environment, your physical environment, in a
Yes.
way that tells you, just laugh at it. Just freaking laugh at it.
Yeah.
That's, just there's some
Yeah.
couple friends in the market that I meet, and these two brothers, and they just laugh at everything. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what happened. They're always laughing, these guys. Like, I can't wait to run into them because I know every time, and I may meet them in the summer, sometimes in the winter. They just stand there in the wind and they go. They just don't care. They just laugh at everything all the time,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
doing great in their personal lives.
It's I totally get that. Yeah, it's not escaping. That was the wrong word. It's like you can it's almost like when you start realizing, like you start separating yourself from your ego and you're observing it and you're like, whoa, that because the ego creates this a whole world, right? But if you're separating it, you're consciously choosing it. It's kind of like that. You can look at it for it's kind of like a comedy show, like what you're saying. If you're looking at it, you're just like, what? I I do feel like that. Like with Stuart, I introduced you to Stuart. We were laughing earlier. We're just like, what a wild ride. Like when you really start to just look at it from a different point of view, it's just uh
Life
it's
is, yeah, like,
it's
yeah, just laugh at it.
just like, does it really need to be taken so seriously? I mean, I'm not saying
Right.
some, but like, just the general day-to-day stuff that makes us crazy. I mean, fuck, it's not even worth
The,
it.
the response to the situation is more important than the situation itself, because life will keep throwing situations at you over and over again, and perhaps those situations are the life lessons you're here to learn. This is why it's repeating. Like, if you want to know what your
Ex-
life theme is, look at what's repeating in your life.
Mm.
And are you
Yes.
modifying your response to these things? So, for example, I mentioned the tax, like just easy, the tax person, or maybe you go from one toxic relationship to the other, or you can never rub two nickels together, and like you never have a place where like you have enough money. So perhaps these are the life lessons, which are your biggest fears, to look into, and then say, okay, I never have money. All these relationships are always toxic.
Yeah.
I'm overweight, I'm too skinny, I'm this and that. How about I tackle these things not from a point of fear, but from like a sober, conscious point,
Mhm.
and start dealing with these issues? And I know it may take me a few months, or maybe it's going to take me a year, maybe it's going to take me longer. It doesn't matter. The moment you go into the issue
Mhm.
consciously, it's done. It
Yeah.
is absolutely done.
Yeah.
The fear goes away and allows you to deal with it.
It really does. Yeah. If you look at it
Really.
with like curiosity, even like, oh, this is interesting that I'm repeating this pattern. Like curiosity, gratitude, whatever you said, like it's just like a different perspective. It does because then you're not the story anymore. It's like you can see the story playing out, but you realize that like you're not it. Like that doesn't define all of you, and you can actually write a new story now. Like you're the conscious creator. That's the thing that people don't realize. Is like what I keep saying. Like we are the conscious creator. So we're creating all the time. Oh, my cat just jumped up here. Hi, Luna. Yes, say hi.
Hello.
But yeah, yeah. Okay, you go down. He's so heavy. I don't want to. Okay.
You can stay.
Ta-da!
It needs to be there. It's great.
Oh my goodness.
So let's bring this to a close, Sherry, and
Yeah.
we'll have another call next week. And everyone's welcome to join us in the program that we're going to launch soon, which is How to Manifest.
Yeah.
21-day manifestation
Like,
program, which will go in this program, 21-day manifestation, which will go into what bothering you, what are your life lessons. We'll have live calls with the group, so you can
mhm,
ask anything. You can ask her to tap intuitively, right brain, left brain, and basically you're going to get semi private group sessions, semi private psychic intuitive sessions with us.
mhm.
Um, and we'll work through the issues and the problems to help people, to help you manifest more. And manifest means overcome your fears, looking at your worthiness, looking at your why, looking at the repeating themes in your life, and seeing how step by step we can devise a plan to really get there, to get there step by step. And
Yeah.
sometimes the dream is so big, I'm gonna live in Costa Rica part of the time.
Yeah.
But for me, I got a place here full of things. I got a family, I got commitments, I got clients, I got business, I got. So I know it's gonna take some time. That's okay. But
Yeah.
here I am chipping at it every day, chipping at my task every day. And the inevitable conclusion is that I'm living in Costa Rica, 6 months of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whatever it is for you, you want to have partner, you have money, you want to move, whatever it is, we're gonna rip away what stops you going there and kind of set the way, both right and left brain, both consciously and metaphysically, intuitively, magically, psychically, to be able to together and to consciously manifest where you want to be.
Yes,
And some
exactly.
of those manifestations will be the exact opposite of what you want, because the universe telling you, okay, deal with this now.
I know. It does seem like that, right? Like it's like you're going backwards to go forwards, and
Yeah.
that's a big part of it too. So yes, exactly.
But it does subsides after. I think after
It does.
you went through the big hurdles, like things become a lot easier and smoother.
No, they do. There's a point where, like, once that happens, it's like you just like it's like what you're saying. It's more constant. More you just kind of separate from it and go, oh, okay, like understand it, right?
Yeah.
Becomes easier. She never even does this either. This is so funny. Oh, anyway.
All right. I have a message for the cat.
Yes. I know. Luna, would you like to chime in? I mean, wow.
Yeah. What? Luna?
Yeah.
Her name's Luna. All right. What does Luna have to? What message does Luna have for us? We'll
Honestly,
conclude with that.
I think I was gonna say this as a joke, but like she clearly she thinks that she's worth, interrupting our podcast because she wants pets. So she has a lot of worth, I think.
Right.
Right, Luna? Like she wasn't like, well, I'll just wait. She's like, no, I want it now. I'm gonna go and just
The cats and the pets, they're all and the children, they're all emotion, they're all in the moment. They don't think about it so much. There's no like anger. They don't like keep anything bad. They're just like, I'm here right now.
No, it's true. They're very in the moment, right? They're in the now. They're operating from unconditional love and acceptance.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about child energy and animal energy is just it's so pure. Yeah, it really is. Like, oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Sherry,
Wow.
thank you so much. That was absolutely amazing. So much good stuff in there.
Yes, thank you.
I will post links for both the program link, Sherry's links, and my links when I repost this video. We'll see you in the next weekend. You're welcome to follow us, share, send us all your questions, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.